Stick around to find out how you can back up all your music with Backblaze.com for less than one of those triple oat milk half sweet foam lattes with sprinkles. Unlimited cloud backup, stunningly cheap. Links are in the description. Don't lose your projects. Alright, today is a first for Dollhouse Studios, and I'm not even going to pretend to be calm about it. This is my first ever hardware review on the channel, and I genuinely feel like a kid on Christmas. Fifine sent over two pieces from their Amplitank lineup, the K688 USB/XLR dynamic microphone and the Ampli-One USB interface. And we're not doing a fluffy, it sounds pretty good drive-by. We're doing real comparisons because the goal today is simple. Can the K688 hang anywhere near a Shure SM7B? And can the Ampli-One even begin to stand up next to my SSL12? Here's how this video is going to work. First, we'll get the K688 and the SM7B level matched and do straight up voice and real world use cases. Then we'll put the Ampli-One and SSL12 through proper interface testing, noise floor, gain behavior, conversion sanity checks, and real monitoring latency performance. And at the end, I'm going to tell you exactly who these are for and who should skip them. So if you've ever wondered whether budget gear can actually get you into serious territory, let's find out. Engineers, I'm so excited. We're moving into a new phase on Dollhouse Studios where we're going to get some hardware reviews in. We're going to start with a mic called the Amplitank K688 from Fifine. This just arrived today and we're going to open it up. Okay, we'll get a little manual. Probably spend a decent amount of time with that. Let's go. Okay, first foamy's up. And voila! There's the Amplitank K688. Let me get this back on camera so you can see it. Very SM7-y. Got a good feel to it, all metal. And you can see very close to the SM7 in all ways. Tiny bit, I'd say about 10% smaller. And the mic is hybrid USB and XLR, so we can go analog or digital. We get a little cable. We get a USB-C cable for digital connectivity. We'll be testing that all out. And a ring adapter to accommodate different mic sizes. Fifine also kindly sent me the professional mic arm. So we'll be able to have the SM7B, which is the obvious inspiration here, and the Fifine right next to it. So we'll be able to test them together. Can't wait. Okay, there is the clamp for the desk, instruction manual, and the arm. Spring and movement feels good. It's very thin when you compare it to the big Pro one that I got here, but I mean, this one costs quite a bit. This one is very cheap. I'll get that price up for you. And there was one more box that came with this. Wonder what this is. It looks like it's an XLR cable. There's one thing I don't need in life, it's more XLR cables. This is good for people who are building out their studio for the first time. And there we have it. Unboxing complete. This came fast, just 2 business days. And I'm up in the Yukon. Let's start putting the stand together, getting a spot on my crowded desk for the interface, get her all plugged in, and see what we can find out. Let's get it. Before we get into the actual sound tests, I want to be clear about who Fifine actually is, because I know a lot of you are understandably skeptical of inexpensive Chinese audio gear. From what I can tell, Fifine isn't just a random reseller slapping logos on generic products. They've been around for over a decade, they have their own product lines, and they claim in-house design and quality control. Like most brands at this price point, manufacturing is handled through contract factories in China, which is standard across consumer electronics, but the product concepts and positioning come from the brand itself, not a no-name catalog. That said, this is very clearly a value-focused company. This isn't boutique legacy pro audio gear, and it's not trying to be. The goal is accessibility, lowering the barrier for creators who want usable recording tools without spending a fortune. So I'm not judging the Ampli One or K688 as replacements for high-end studio staples. I'm going to test them honestly, show where they hold up, where they don't, and let the results speak for themselves. For full transparency, Fifine supplied this gear, but I'm not making any commissions off any sales, and I'm free to say whatever I want, and they put that in writing. So if you've ever wondered whether budget gear can actually get you into serious territory, let's find out. I would humbly ask that you subscribe to stay in tune with all the latest in pro audio news, technology, and techniques. And I'd really appreciate a like and a subscribe. Okay, so there are lots of things that can make a difference on a mic, so I'm going to try to get rid of all that now. All my purposeful noise sources are off, and I've got level matching. On the SM7B, I have turned off the 3K EQ boost and the high pass filter, which I always have on. On the SSL, I've turned off its high passes, and I've turned off the 4K EQ boost that its mic pre's have as well. The analog modeling, a little bit of EQ bump, that's off. So this is totally dry audio, and I can switch back and forth between them, and we can check it out. The 4000B is the ideal channel strip for those seeking the rich, colorful sound of the first commercially available SSL console. With its powerful compression and musical EQ options, the 4000B has an unmistakable character that's the essence of SSL's early sonic identity. Is anybody else surprised by this? So this is a $85 US, $108 Canadian microphone. This is a $600 Canadian microphone. Plus, it's being boosted by a cloud lifter to get some more gain out of it, because the SM7Bs are notoriously low on gain, very high resistance. You got to crank up your mic pre just to get any decent level out of them, and it's pretty much guaranteed you have to buy a cloud lifter just to get a normal mic level and use phantom power. That's $200, so we get $800 of mic against almost a tenth of that, $100 mic, and I can barely tell the difference. And where I can, I kind of like the Fifine. It's got a round bottom and defined top end. Whew. Were any of you guys expecting this? So now I'll do the same SSL reading with full signal chain on it, so you can hear how each mic sounds, background noise and stuff, with a noise gate on it and heavy compression like I'd put on for a regular voiceover. Let's read from the SSL channel strip guide, shall we? Please note, I have got a fan on right next to me. We're also going to be checking out how these mics differ in rejection of off-axis noise and sound. Introduced in 1976, the SL4000B was one of the first inline recording consoles, a true pioneer in studio technology. Installed in the legendary Stone Room at London's Townhouse Studios, it became the foundation behind some of music's most unforgettable moments. Okay, so now we're going to test each mic individually, checking out off-axis tone, etc. Okay, I'm addressing the mic directly into the mic. Okay, and now the Fifine. addressing the Fifine directly. 90 degrees here. Off axis 90 degrees. And now moving off axis 90 degrees. 90 degrees off axis. And off axis 180 degrees-ish. There you go. And 180 degrees off axis-ish. Okay, the SM7B holds up much better at 90 degrees. Could barely hear much of a difference once processed. The Fifine gets a little thinner as you get off axis. Rejection on both are pretty similar from 180 degrees. So let's see how transmission is. In other words, nudges, bumps, rumbles that come up the mic stand or the mic itself. So the Shure SM7B, tapping the body of it, giving it a little bump on the body, and with the boom arm that I've got, giving it tap, bump. Okay, now we'll repeat with the Fifine. Okay, on the mic itself, taps, a bump, certainly sproyoings a lot more, not a lot more, just shakier and faster. I guess that's the springs on the arm. And now the arm itself, tap, tap, and now some bumps. I hear it ringing. It's got a note too. Dong, 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 dong. Okay. And of course it's got the springs too, so these would have to be things you'd have to watch out for. Conclusion, obviously the Fifine stand, the CS1, it is what it is. It's a desktop lamp stand with springs. It rings like a bell. So, you know, this is just part of life. And here, even hitting the desk will cause those springs to rumble. Not a huge deal. A low pass filter and standard isolation effects, say in Final Cut or your audio program, will easily get rid of this for the most part. Just something to keep in mind. It's a low tier mic arm, right? As compared to the one that I have, the $200 one that I have the SM7B on. Okay, and now I'm set up to record digitally through my MacBook. Pretend that I'm on the road and I want to do a quick recording. Fifine helpfully ships with this wonderful USB cable that has this great little adapter here, which can give you USB-A or USB-C. Lovely. Let's plug it in. So let's get USB to USB. Allow accessory to connect. Okay, and importantly, the Fifine, when connected digitally, works as a interface fully. So it's got stereo out, stereo in, and therefore it's got headphone output. And you've got mic gain and headphone gain here. These controls are not available when you're using it analog. Okay, testing, testing. Not working at all. Testing, testing. Okay, there we go. Okay. So, a little weird, wouldn't connect until I pulled the headphones out. And I am hearing the headphones just fine here. Adjusting the volume. Test, 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 test. Okay, so here we're hearing definitely the downsides of that boom arm. Check it out. So even with the MacBook, you know, so just typing is gonna set off resonances on those springs on the boom arm. So, you know, with the money you save from getting this, maybe you'd get the fancier boom arm that doesn't have springs on it. Okay, so that's the quality there. I recommend you get your signal settings before you start streaming or recording, because as you can tell, slightest touch and you can hear me working with those gain controls. But it's all working. I'm getting headphone output. So this thing is a little mini walk around studio for you. You can go to Starbucks and record yourself and you're all good to go. So in conclusion, I'm frankly blown away that we can get even close to the Shure SM7B tone with a $100 mic. Just wow. So I would say that this is entirely worth it for if you're on a budget, or say something that I'm planning on doing in the coming year is setting up a rentable podcast studio in my room that's just right back there. So why spend, you know, $3,000 setting up a table with 4 SM7Bs and cloud lifters and a mixer when I could just get 4 of these for $400? I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer, right? So if you have to own a lot of these, or you're on a budget, you're just starting out, or if you want portable capability and the digital connection, the K688 is a no-brainer. This is truly, truly impressive stuff. With one major caveat. The issue that you often run into with these more cheaply made, mass-produced, Chinese manufactured units is that one area that they can save a lot of money in is in quality assurance. So we'd have to come back here in, say, 14 years and see if the Fifine can still output great sound. There hasn't been any degradation in functionality compared to my Shure SM7B, which I've had for 14 years and works like the day I got it. Plus consistency between models. It's perhaps a bit more chancy that if you buy one Fifine 1 month and another month, they might not match exactly. Now, Fifine does have in-house quality assurance, they say, so maybe it's worth taking the leap. Just wanted to get that caveat in there. So let me know what you think about this in the comments below. And if we get a lot of views on this and you guys are into my hardware reviews, I've also got the Amplitank audio interface, and we're going to test this next. Let me know if you want to see about that. I'll run it head-to-head against the SSL12 interface. Let me know if you want to see that. Thanks for watching my hardware review, and until next time, let's get it. All right, I want to try something a little different on the channel, because if I just keep talking about plugins and QR codes for plugins, I'm going to start sounding like a salesman at Guitar Center. This one's about something way less sexy, but way more important to audio professionals: backups. A few years ago in my project studio, my main platter drive just gave up the ghost right while I was shuffling backup drives to make room for audio samples. Perfect timing, right? I lost every single project I was working on in my home studio, and worse, the sinking feeling of knowing I'd have to tell professional clients I'd lost their work. It was brutal. Sure, maybe the drive could have been recovered, but the data recovery quote was $1,200. Or, for less than one of those triple oat milk half sweet foam lattes with sprinkles, I could have had all of it safe in the cloud. Oh. That's why I use Backblaze.com now. Unlimited backup, totally automatic, and it just works. No weird bloat, no demons, chomping CPU, just simple set and forget protection. For us engineers, it's peace of mind, and if you're wrangling corporate level chaos, Backblaze Business has you covered too. QR codes on screen, grab the free trial with my affiliate link, and don't let one hard drive ruin your music again.